Before the beginning, why Alden Richards once felt he should explain Maine Mendoza to the public. Before the start of the Kalye Serye. Long before the magic of the famous Kalye Serye captured millions of hearts, there was a moment of uncertainty behind the scenes. At that time, Alden Richards was already a rising star in Philippine entertainment, while Maine Mendoza was just beginning to gain attention through her viral dub smash videos. When the creative team of Eat Bulaga decided to introduce Maine as Yaya Dub and pair her with Alden in what would later become the unforgettable Kalye Serye, no one expected that it would turn into a cultural phenomenon. But for Alden, the beginning of that partnership also came with responsibility. A sudden spotlight. The moment Maine appeared on screen, viewers quickly noticed the natural chemistry between the two. Their playful interactions, heartfelt moments, and innocent romance created something fresh and exciting that viewers had never seen before. However, because the pairing happened so quickly and became popular almost overnight, Alden reportedly felt that the public deserved clarity about what was happening. He understood that audiences could easily become emotionally invested in the story. Wanting to be honest with fans. As someone known for his sincerity, Alden Richards believed it was important to respect the viewers who supported the show. In his mind, explaining who Maine Mendoza was and how the Kalye Serye storyline worked would help people appreciate the entertainment without misunderstanding the situation. Alden knew that the audience's connection to the story was powerful. The love team that fans later called Al Dub quickly became one of the most talked about pairings in Philippine television history. Because of that, he wanted to make sure that everything remained positive, respectful, and transparent. The birth of a cultural phenomenon. Once the Kalye Serye officially began on Eat Bulaga, it didn't take long for the story to explode in popularity. Millions of viewers tuned in daily to watch the developing romance between Alden and Yaya Dub. The unique storytelling format, combining live television, improvisation, and audience participation, created a level of excitement rarely seen in variety shows. Social media also played a major role. Fans began sharing clips, creating fan art, and posting messages of support for the pairing. Soon, the love team of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza was trending not only in the Philippines, but around the world. Respecting the fans' emotions. What made Alden's concern about explaining the situation so meaningful was his respect for the fans' feelings. He understood that viewers were not just watching a show, they were emotionally connecting with the story. For many supporters, the Kalye Serye became part of their daily lives. Families gathered around the television, cheering for every sweet moment between Alden and Yaya Dub. Knowing this, Alden felt it was important to treat that connection with care. A partnership that made history. Looking back today, it's clear that the decision to move forward with the Kalye Serye changed everything. The partnership between Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza created unforgettable memories that still live on in the hearts of fans. Their on-screen moments, filled with humor, innocence, and genuine emotion, helped create one of the most iconic love teams in Philippine entertainment. And even years later, many supporters continue to look back on that era with fondness and nostalgia. A story that lives on. The success of the Kalye Serye proved that sometimes the most beautiful stories begin in the most unexpected ways. What started as a simple segment on Eat Bulaga eventually became a nationwide phenomenon that united fans across generations. And at the center of it all were two individuals whose chemistry and sincerity captured the hearts of millions. For Alden Richards, wanting to explain things to the public before it all began simply showed one thing: his deep respect for the audience who made the journey possible. Because in the end, the story of Alden and Maine Mendoza was never just about entertainment. It was about connection, joy, and the magic that happens when fans and artists share a moment that feels truly special. The responsibility of being in the spotlight. As the Kalye Serye continued to gain momentum, Alden Richards began to realize just how powerful the connection between the show and its viewers had become. Every small interaction between him and Maine Mendoza seemed to bring joy to millions of people watching at home. What started as a fun and experimental segment on Eat Bulaga quickly turned into something much bigger than anyone expected. Fans were not just watching, They were emotionally invested in the journey of Alden and Yaya Dub. Because of this overwhelming support, Alden felt a growing sense of responsibility. He knew that viewers admired the chemistry between him and Maine, but he also wanted people to understand that the Kalye Serye was a carefully crafted storyline meant to entertain and inspire. Respect for Maine Mendoza. Another reason Alden believed it was important to explain things to the public was his respect for Maine Mendoza. At that time, Maine was still new to the world of television. Her sudden rise to fame was extraordinary, but it also meant she was entering a demanding industry filled with attention and expectations. Alden understood that the spotlight could be overwhelming for someone experiencing fame for the first time. By being transparent with the audience, he hoped to help create a supportive environment where Maine could grow comfortably in her career. Many fans later admired how Alden treated his partner with kindness and patience during those early days of the Kalye Serye. The magic that followed. Despite the initial uncertainties, the Kalye Serye soon became one of the most beloved segments in Philippine television history. The innocent love story between Alden and Yaya Dub captured hearts because it felt genuine and refreshing. Their interactions were often filled with humor, playful misunderstandings, and heartfelt moments that made viewers laugh and smile. Fans eagerly waited every day to see how the story would continue. Soon, the pairing of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza became known as Al Dub, a love team that sparked massive excitement across social media and television screens. A cultural moment. The popularity of Al Dub eventually grew beyond the boundaries of the show itself. Their story inspired fan gatherings, online discussions, and record-breaking television ratings. For many viewers, the Kalye Serye was more than just entertainment. It became a shared experience that brought families and communities together. The sincerity of Alden and Maine's performances made the story feel special, and fans appreciated the positivity and joy that the segment brought into their daily lives. Looking back at the beginning. When people look back at how everything started, Alden's early concern about explaining the situation to the public now feels like a reflection of his character. It showed that he cared deeply about honesty, respect, and the feelings of the audience. He wanted the viewers to understand the story while still enjoying the magic that made the Kalye Serye so unforgettable. A legacy that remains. Years later, the memories of that era continue to live on in the hearts of fans. The journey of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza remains one of the most cherished chapters in the history of Eat Bulaga. What began with curiosity and careful steps eventually turned into a phenomenon that millions of people still remember with warmth and nostalgia. And perhaps that is what makes the story so meaningful, because sometimes the most unforgettable moments begin with a simple idea, a little honesty, and two people who unknowingly create something extraordinary together.